To begin the questioning, of the more than 2,200 detainees that have been released so far, several hundred are criminal aliens who have been convicted of crimes such as theft, fraud, and other crimes perpetrated on people in our society. Was the decision to release detained illegal and criminal immigrants a unilateral decision made by you?
It was a decision made by the career officials in the agency, and in particular, Mr. Meade and our chief financial officers. I support their decision completely, and to the extent that your question asked, was it made by anybody outside of the agency, the answer is a categorical no.
Did you coordinate with any officials at DHS headquarters in making the decision to release potentially dangerous illegal immigrants?
None whatsoever.
Do you even have the authority to act unilaterally with respect to releasing thousands of detained illegal immigrant aliens?
Well, first, the answer is yes. The authority by statute rests with me and the officers of the agency. In fact, other than the secretary, we are the only individuals in the department with that authority.
And you're saying that a decision to release 2,200 people for this purpose, whatever the purpose may have been, whether it's to save money or for other reasons, had no communications with the higher department to which ICE is an agency that you report?
That's correct. These decisions were made inside the agency for budgetary reasons.
Let me have this right here. I have in front of me a memorandum dated December 8, 2010 that you submitted to Secretary Napolitano under the subject matter, expanding expedited removal to felons unlawfully in the United States, where you set forward the purpose of making that request, the background for making the request, your discussion about the request, and at the bottom, your recommendation, below which is a signature line for the approval of the Secretary. Is that standard procedure for you and others in agencies within the Department of Homeland Security for making decisions regarding changes in policy at the department?
That was a recommendation to the Secretary about possible ways to streamline removal efforts, and that one had to do with expedited removal. So that was a specific...
I understand, but why would the decision in that case have required you to make that request of the Secretary, and the decision here to release onto our streets, as opposed to the expedited removal and deportation, 2,200 plus people? In fact, we've seen documents that suggest that the plans are to release several thousand more onto our streets without any approval from Secretary Napolitano.
No, the regulatory authority for expedited removal is set by the Secretary, not by the agency. Unlike detention releases, ICE is the exclusive detention authority within the department.
So you're saying that if you want to increase the deportation of people outside the country and expedite that, you have to seek the approval of the Secretary. But if you want to release the same people back onto the streets of the United States where they can commit more crimes, you do not have to seek the Secretary's approval for that purpose.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that if I wish to change the rules for expedited removal, I have to go to the Secretary with that proposal. That authority does not rest exclusively with the agency. And that was about a very specific statutory and regulatory power that is not held exclusively by ICE.
I understand that with the exception of custody operations, ICE was operating under the presidential budget, not at the budget set by Congress under the continuing resolution. As a result, all the other accounts in ICE carried a balance of $240 million for the year and $120 million for the past 6 months. Additionally, your CFO indicated that ICE carried forward $100 to $120 million in user fee balances. Can you tell us why ICE didn't ever submit a reprogramming request to appropriations, which can be handled at the committee level, rather than releasing detained illegal immigrants? Isn't it true that both ICE and DHS could issue reprogramming requests to cover the costs of these released detainees?
We can seek reprogramming requirements. That is absolutely true, Mr. Chairman, and we did not in this. I am trying to live within the appropriations that Congress gives us. Our single largest appropriation is for custody operations, and we were trying to live within our budget, recognizing that we had to go the full year. We did not have a full year appropriation. We only had 6 months. Sequester was coming, and we played it very tight to the vest in every custody, operation that we did, other than custody operations, where it was important enough and we operated at a level above what we were appropriated for much of the fiscal year. And I did not want to rob Peter to pay Paul. And, my view is that we need to maintain the operations of the agency. I don't want to furlough people, and I need to make rational judgments across the PPAs that we are given by the Appropriations Committee.
The Appropriations Committee is very used to dealing with excess expenditures necessitated by changed circumstances, and do respond quickly to those requests. But I am pleased that you acknowledge that you could have done that and dipped into surplus funds from fees or from other funds carried over from other operations of the department, rather than releasing criminal aliens onto our streets. And I'll ask unanimous consent to enter the following documents in the record. A letter to Secretary Napolitano from Senator Grassley and I requesting specific information on the detainees released as a result of sequestration. We expect ICE to respond to this request for information. A letter from the Pinal County Sheriff, Paul Babu, stating that on February 23, 2013, Immigration and Customs Enforcement processed and released 207 illegal immigrants from the ICE Eloy facility in Arizona on this date alone. Of the 207, a total of 48 had been charged or convicted with either manslaughter, child molestation, aggravated assault, weapon offenses, forgery, drug offenses, or other serious crimes. And third, a memo from Director Morton to Secretary Napolitano requesting the expansion of expedite removal to felons unlawfully in the United States, which I referred to earlier. Without objection, those will be made a part of the record.